Hey, what's up, everybody? Yours truly back in the space, back in the place once again, Mr. Smith, Mickey Smith Jr., and I am excited. I'm excited because we are here, guys. We are here. It's time for the instruments to come home. It's time for the journey to begin. I appreciate your patience, parents and students. I like to take my time because what happens is when we begin to bring instruments home, not only is there an opportunity for improvement, but unfortunately, there's also an opportunity for damage of the instrument. So I always like to make sure that we take time for the students to at least kind of get their minds around what it means to handle the instruments with care, because we're not just playing instruments, we're performing instruments. We're not just playing music, but we're performing a great task. And this is a great investment, so we want to make sure we protect that investment. I'm real big in class about following directions. So if you talk to the kids long enough, you'll hear sometimes they say, "Boy, Mr. Smith is bossy about how we do things," because we want to make sure we do things not the wrong way, but the right way, the band way. And that involves making sure that we follow directions intently and correctly. So feel free, grown-ups, students, to follow along in this video and to replicate what it is I demonstrate on the instrument as we go through the process. First thing I'll say is this. We want to make sure that we put the instrument together on the ground, okay? We always tell students, make sure we assemble the instruments on the ground. Reason being, if something drops and is already on the ground, the likelihood that it's going to sustain damage that requires repair or replacement is minimal. But if you got it on your lap, or if you have it on a high place, a table or a cabinet or something like that, now we've increased the odds or the chances that our instrument is going to need some TLC from us. So we want to make sure that we assemble it on the floor. Now, for the sake of demonstration, I'm using this little cart right here so that you can see what I'm demonstrating. First thing I want to do is I want to make sure that the handle is facing me, the latches are facing me, and that the logo is at the top. That way, when I open up the case, I don't have to worry about it falling out and breaking. Now, for the sake of demonstration, I'm going to turn it around towards you so that you can see. Open up the latches, the cases, and boom, we got our instrument right there. So watch this. First thing we do, I tell the kids we want to put on our insurance. We want to put it on our Geico. We want to put on our State Farm. I'm not a spokesperson. We want to put on our Progressive, right? We want to put on our insurance in case something happens. That's what this neck strap helps us with. So we put on the neck strap, and then on the back of the saxophone, there's a little hook. There's a little circle. Some people have a hook, some people have a circle. You just hook that in, just like that, okay? And every neck strap looks a little bit different, but for the most part, that's the mechanism, that's what works. So we put that together first, and then watch this. I take one thing at a time. That's very important. A lot of saxophone players try to do 2 or 3 things at a time. One thing at a time. I think Barbara Mandrell sang that song. One day at a time, right? That we don't want to go too fast and do too much. So one thing I do is I grab the neck and I put some cork grease on. Okay, I don't put a lot. You can see, you can barely see it. It's just enough to create a little bit of lubrication so that the mouthpiece goes on easier. Okay, once I put that cork grease on, then watch this, the screws. Watch this, there's a screw right here. Now some instruments might have 2 screws, but we want to find the one on the right hand side. Watch this, 1, 2, I'm through. Just 2 turns, don't let yourself turn it more than twice. 2 turns is enough, and then take the plug out if you got the little plug. That keeps things from crawling in there or falling in there and damaging your instrument. Okay, once I take things off, I just put them right back in the case. There's usually a little compartment like this where you can hold items. Then the next part is I grab the neck near the cork, and then I grab the instrument where it's the fewest keys. I make sure that the neck is pointing toward me, and I shimmy, 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 shimmy until it goes down. I don't do a big twist. I don't do a big crank, okay? I just do small shimmies. Small shimmies, that's all I do. Small shimmies like this, okay? I've set up everybody's instrument. Everybody's instrument should go on with ease to do those small shimmies. If you grab it where it's the keys part and hold it that way, it could make one of the keys go up, and then when you put it on, it would break it. So we want to grab it where it's the fewest keys. I'm going to show you again one more time so we can see how that works. We grab it where it's the fewest keys up here, and then we shimmy, shimmy, shimmy it down. Small turns. Do not twist, because what'll happen is if you twist too much, it'll break that key right there. And we don't want that. How do I know? Because when I was a young lad, I broke that key. So I don't want you to break yours. My parents were not happy. So watch this. After we put the neck on, 1, 2, and we're through. Because we turned it 2 ways the other way, it makes it very easy to tell if we're going the correct way when we go to tighten it up. 2 turns should be it. Then watch this. You've already put your cork grease on. Then I put the mouthpiece. Now watch. There is something called a ligature. I want to take that ligature off, because if I try to grab it with the ligature, it's very thin metal, like an aluminum soda can, Coke can, pop can. I don't want to break it, okay? So I grab the mouthpiece without the ligature, grab the neck, and then I shimmy, shimmy, shimmy down. I want to leave a little bit of brown showing. I don't want to cover it all the way up, okay? So I leave a little bit of brown, and then watch this. I put the ligature on. If you put the ligature on and it doesn't fit, watch this, it's simple. Don't twist or turn it. That's not gonna change anything. If it doesn't fit, lift it and flip it. I'll say it again. If it doesn't fit, you have to flip, and then it'll work. The screws should always be facing your right-hand side. So as the player, it should be on my right-hand side. If the screws are on the other side, then that's wrong. It needs to be on the right-hand side, okay? After that, watch this. Very important that we handle the reeds the correct way. I've seen students that grab them at the tip, and you can see how this is broken. This reed is no good, and the instrument will not play. So I want to make sure that I grab it the right way. You can see this is a good reed. I'll put them next to one another. Saxophone players usually have a hard time with this. These reeds are like $5 a pop, so we don't want to break them, okay? So I grab it at the thick part of the reed, not the thin parts. The thick part, and then watch this. There's a flat part of the reed and a round part. On the mouthpiece, there's a round part of the mouthpiece, and then you can see right there's a flat part. So I put like a landing a plane, I put the flat on the flat, and I slide it like that. And then I tighten it up. And it should only be a few turns, okay? Not many. Now, Mr. Smith, how will I know if I put it on there right? Well, you can see right there's a little smile. There's a curve on everybody's reed. Now, I drew a smile on this curve, but if you look carefully on your reed, you'll see a curve, and you want to make sure that the metal part, the ligature, sits below the curve, okay? I might even draw a little smile on there if I'm you, right? So you can see the smile. If it smiles, it's going to sound better. And then that's how we play it. That's how we put it together, I should say. That's our assembly. The neck strap should be high enough to where the horn pops right in your mouth, okay? And then from there, we make our first sounds. Now, I have another video where I'll demonstrate what those first sounds are like, but it's very important that we disassemble it in the opposite fashion. So we turn the screws 1, 2, and then we're through. Take the reed off carefully, put the reed back in the reed case so it doesn't get damaged. Take the ligature off. Remember, one thing at a time. And then take the mouthpiece off. Unshimmy, shimmy, 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 take it off. Once you do that, put the ligature back on the mouthpiece, and then there's a little compartment in your saxophone that holds the mouthpiece and the ligature. At this point, now we turn the screw 1, 2, remember it's the one on the right-hand side, not the left, and then we grab it where it's the fewest keys, unshimmy, and I hope you're following along with the video. I know the students at this point are probably pretty good at following if they've been paying attention in class, which they have been. And then the next thing is, don't tighten up the screw, put the plug back in. Once you put the plug back in, then 1, 2, then we're through. At which point we then take the neck strap off. We put our instrument in the case. And then watch this, take the neck strap off, because most saxophone players forget it and they wear it to their next class, right? And you don't want to wear this to Costco's or Walmart or Target or anything like that. So take off your neck strap, put it in the case, and then once you do that, close your case, but make sure everything is fitting in there flush. If things are sticking out, then the case is not gonna close and you could damage the instrument. So we wanna make sure everything is laying flat and flush. We close up the case, and now you're ready. Hey, we'll be back with more. I hope this helps. I wanna encourage you, keep on going. The next steps will be the best steps, and the next sounds will be the best sounds yet. Mr. Smith.